Okay, guys, so today we're going to be talking about the area of plane figures. So, let me remind you, I know this is the first time we've done a recording, but please, if you feel it's going a little too fast, just remember you do have the pause button, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and zoom in a little bit. So the area of a parallelogram, what that is that's going to be talking about parallelogram. Remember, there is two pairs of parallel sides. So the area is going to be A is equal to B times H. B is going to be your base. Your height is going to be your H. Now what that means is that a parallelogram is the product being multiplied. Remember that, guys. Is going to be multiplying B times H. Okay. Now, area of a triangle is going to be half of the product. Again, that is going to be multiplying, and its corresponding height. Okay, so what that means, it can be written two different ways. It can be 1/2 base times height, or it can be A is equal to B times H divided by 2. It doesn't matter. It's all going to be the same answer. It's going to get you the same thing. Now, couple reminders. What that means is any side of a parallelogram or a triangle can be the base. Okay, the base and height must be perpendicular. Reminder that perpendicular, that means they make a 90-degree angle. Okay, so 90 degree is that square. So you see a square here, you see a square here. You have the base and the height. When they cross each other, they make a 90 degrees. Lowercase and uppercase letters matter. For example, you see that A is a capital A, B is a lowercase b, and H is a lowercase h. So please make sure that they stay that way. It does matter. Okay, we will make sure to dive into that later, but again, I'm going to go ahead and continue to move forward. So this first example, it says find the area of the parallelograms. Now, whenever you're finding the area, you're going to do 4 steps. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to find the height. Second thing you're going to do is you're going to write down what's given to you. Third thing you're going to do is write equation. And the fourth thing you're going to do is, and I'm going to combine these so I know I've kept them separate, is you're going to substitute and solve. Okay, those are going to be the 4 steps that you're going to follow. So let me go ahead and explain. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to find the height. On this particular example, the height is given to you. It is going to be 5. So that was easy. Okay. 2 is going to be given. So what that means is you're going to basically have to find the base. The base, remember, is the one that crosses with your height. 4 does not cross with the height, so your base is going to be 10 because the opposite sides are going to be the same. So your base is equal to 10. Okay, the third thing you're going to do is you are going to write your equation. Equation is equal to A base times height. 4 is substitute and solve. Your base is 10. Your height is 5. Therefore, it is going to be, excuse me. Okay, therefore it is going to be 50 inches squared, or you can also see it as 50 square inches. And that is going to be your final answer. For my new kiddos, I do box all my answers, so please make sure you are doing so as well. Now for step 2, or equation number 2. The first step you're going to do is you are going to find your height. On this one, notice we are not given to it. It is not given to us, which is why I have that as part of your steps. Now, the best way that you're going to be able to find this is going to be the Pythagorean theorem. A squared plus B squared is equal to C squared. You can label it either way as long as you know that C is going to be the one across from 90. It doesn't matter how you label your A and your B. Just whenever you're substituting, use parentheses. So that is going to be substituted in. And then whenever you do that, you're going to have 64 plus h squared is going to equal to 289. From here, you're going to subtract on both sides, and that is going to give you h squared is going to equal 225, excuse me. And then you're going to square root. Square root is going to be the only way you can get rid of that squared. And so therefore, h is going to equal to 15. Notice that is only step 1. So now I'm going to go to step 2. What else is given to me? 8 is not my base. So 8 is not my base. Let me reiterate that. Your base is going to be what crosses with that height. And that is going to be 21. And remember, your height you said was 15. Step 3 is going to be writing the equation, which is just base times height. 4 is substitute and solve. So a is going to be substituting 21 times 15. A is going to be 315 centimeters squared. Don't forget to write that squared. If that is not in the answer, then your answer is going to be incorrect. So make sure that you are including those. Again, remember step 1 is find the height, 2 is given, 3 is equation, 4 is substitute and solve. Okay, now we're going to go to number 3. Number 3 is going to be the exact same steps. Okay, so you're going to make sure that you're following the same 4 steps. Same thing on this one. You are not given your height, so it's going to be the same process as long as you know that your C is across from your 90 degrees. It doesn't matter how you label them. Okay, so because it's the same way that we did the previous example, I'm going to go ahead and get started, but I'm not going to finish it because, again, that's the same way I would do it in class. I would make y'all finish it. I'm going to do the same thing here. My A is going to be my H. I always substitute with parentheses. It's going to be my 6 squared, and this is going to be my 13 squared. So from here, I have H squared plus 36 is going to equal 169. I will go ahead and let you finish solving that out, but I'm going to come over here to the side, and I'm going to go to step 2. So step 2 is going to be where B is equal to 29. For H, you should have gotten a rounded answer of 11.533. Step 3 is going to be write your equation, which is A is equal to base times height, divide by 2. If you use the other equation, that is completely fine. That's just the one I chose to use. So A is going to be 29 times 11.533. That is all going to be divided by 2. Once you put that in your calculator, and it's going to look just about 167.229 centimeters squared. Please, whenever you're taking these notes, make sure you're actually practicing putting this in your calculator. Otherwise, you're just going to be lost whenever you do it by yourself. Again, to reiterate what we did, step 1 is I found the height. 2, I wrote down my given. 3, I wrote down my equation. And 4, I substituted and then solved. On this one, number 4. Number 4 is a little bit different because the simple fact it tells us to find x. So it's going to change our order just a little bit because we are finding x. Specifically, we are given our area. So we're going to skip step 1, and go to straight 2 and write down our given. Our given is A is equal to 357. That is our area. Our base is going to be 34, and our height is going to equal x. We're going to go to step 3, which is write our equation. A is equal to base times height, all divided by 2. And step 4 is going to be substitute and solve. Excuse me, let me zoom back in. A is 357 is equal to 34 times x, all divided by 2. Now, how in the heck do I get rid of that divide by 2? Well, you need to do the opposite of dividing by 2. Opposite of dividing by 2 is going to be to multiply by 2. And what I do to one side of the equal sign, I'm going to do to the other. Now the beautiful thing is those twos cancel out, and now you're left to just solve it on its own. So that's going to be 714 is equal to 34 times x is just 34x. From here, you're going to divide by 34. What I do to one side, I do to the other. And x is going to equal 21 inches, and that is what it asks us to solve. So therefore, it is my final answer. Now again, because it gave us our area, we did this a little bit differently. We skipped step 1. So just remember, it depends on what it's asking us. Guys, I'm going to come back here. Please don't forget to go and finish off that number 1, because I will be checking that. So let's go ahead and do a little bit, continue to move forward. So the review. So what we're going to do now is we're going to move to trapezoids, okay? So trapezoids is whenever there's one pair of parallel sides. So right here, you're going to put a trapezoid, okay? And it's a quadrilateral. Quadrilateral is 4 sides, don't forget that, with exactly one pair of parallel sides. The parallel sides are going to be what you're going to call your bases, okay? So remember, this is how we signify that something is parallel with those arrows right there, okay? The height is going to be also perpendicular. This means makes 90 degrees, okay? Don't forget that. Distance between the bases. Now, it can be on the outside or it can be in the inside. Either way, it's the height. It doesn't matter. Okay, now there's going to be 2 ways that you can write the area of a trapezoid. Very, very similar to how we broke up the area of a triangle. So it's going to be area is equal to 1/2 base 1 plus base 2 times your height. Or you can write it base 1 plus base 2 times your height, all divide by 2. Again, it doesn't matter as long as you are going to use the same one every time. And remember, the sum is going to be when you add them together. Okay, that's basically what we're doing. And then we divide by 2. So let's go ahead and start practicing. On these ones, you're going to only have 3 steps. You're going to list your given. You're going to write the equation. And the very last thing you're going to do is you are going to substitute and solve. Okay, so that's what you're going to do on these ones. Substitute and solve. Okay, so let's go ahead and go with step 1. What exactly are we given? We're given a base 1, a base 2, and we are given our height. So again, guys, it doesn't matter which one you label your bases. It really doesn't matter as long as you're just sticking to it. So base 1 is going to be 16. Base 2 is going to be 6. Height is going to be 12. Our second step is going to be to write our equation. I'm going to choose the right side, which is what I did with the triangle as well. I'm going to do base 1 plus base 2 times your height, all divide by 2. Third step is to substitute and solve. So what that means, it's going to be 16 plus 6 times 12 divide by 2. Now, whenever you put that into your calculator, and again, guys, you can solve this out, but again, calculators are your best friends because, you know, I don't let you use them all the time. That's going to go ahead and use it now. It's going to be 132 feet squared. So please make sure you put the squared and you box your answer. Again, step 1 was write our given. Step 2 is write our equation. Step 3 is substitute and solve. Now let's go to number 6, okay? So number 6, what we're going to do here is we're going to do it very similar like we did with that other triangle, okay? So we're going to go with what is given to us. We are given A is equal to 87. We are given that base 1, base 2, and height. So base 1 is going to be 6.4. Excuse me. Base 2 is equal to 13. and our height is equal to x. It is asking us to find x. So then we're going to substitute. Step 2 is to write our equation. So what that means is A is base 1 plus base 2 times our height, all divided by 2. So A is, 87, which is step 3. Substitute and solve. 6.4 plus 13 times x, all divided by 2. Now, whenever you put this in your calculator, you can only do one step at a time. So 6.4 plus 13 is going to be 19.4 times x, all divided by 2. Again, I am dividing by 2. I need to get rid of that division because we don't like fractions. Opposite of division is going to be multiplication. We're going to multiply by the number we are dividing by. So those cancel out. 87 times 2 is going to be 174. 19.4 times x is just 19.4x. From here, I'm going to divide. What I do to one side, I do to the other. And therefore, x is going to be about 8.97. So what that means is x is about 8.97 centimeters. Now, we're on the last part of our notes. Now, on this one, it says use what you know to find about area, to find the area and perimeter. Now, again, we need to use what we know. Number 7, I don't know what the heck type of figure that is. So I'm going to break it up into figures I know. This is going to be the first thing I'm going to do because I know all rectangles have the opposite sides that are the same. So I know that this is automatically going to be a 7. So how the heck do I find this little part right here? Okay, easy peasy lemon squeezy. You're going to take 13 minus 8 because that's a part of the total. And that is going to give you 5. So therefore, this little part is 5. So that means this part has to be 5. Remember, guys, the perimeter is going to be adding up all of the outside. So I'm going to start with 13 and go to the right. 13, 6, 8, 7, 5, 7, and 6. You will go ahead and put that in your calculator and you will go ahead and add those up. Whatever it is, just make sure you are boxing your answer at the end. Okay, now for area, what you're going to do is you're basically going to find the individual areas and then add them together at the end. On a rectangle, I know that the area is going to be length times width. So I know 13 times 6 is going to equal 78. And I know 5 times 7 is going to equal 35. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add those two areas together. And that is going to get me 113 meters squared. And that's it. Again, guys, we need to use what we know. Don't make it harder than it needs to be. So let's go ahead and go to this one. If that whole side is 18, that means this whole side on the outside is 18. Remember, for perimeter, we only go with what we know on the outside. So let's handle that one first. Outside numbers, I have an 18. I'm going to ignore that 6 for just a second because it's going to distract me, okay? Because the 6 may seem like it's part of the outside, but remember, 18 is the total of the outside. 18, 20, 18, and 10. Whenever you get those, you're going to add them together, and that is going to be your perimeter. Okay, and area. That's where we need to, okay, what the heck? How the heck can I do that? Take with what you know. Now I can bring this 6 back, okay? So that's a rectangle. So this is going to be 6. This is going to be 10, okay? Miss Huerta, where does that 18 come from? Okay, that's going to help us find our height. So 18 is the total height of this figure. I only need the height for this part of the figure. So that's where I'm going to take 18 minus 6, and that is going to give me 12, and that's going to be this height. Guys, this is a trapezoid. This little figure right here, this one right here, all this figure right here is going to be a trapezoid. So what I need to do is I need to get the formula for area of a trapezoid. Well, area of a trapezoid is going to be base 1 plus base 2 times your height is all divided by 2. Now, this is going to be your base 1. This is going to be your base 2. And this is going to be your height. Okay? And if you need to make a little side note that says this is a trapezoid, so you know exactly where you got the equation from, then please go ahead and do so. I'm going to go ahead and take off this little squiggly red stuff so that way it doesn't distract you. Okay, and so there we go. Then from here, you're going to substitute it in. This is going to be 10 plus 20 times 12 divided by 2. And you're eventually going to get your area of 180 centimeters squared. Now, the very last one, same exact thing. Take with what you know. Make it into figures you know. This is going to be 5, 5, 5. Okay, I see 2 half circles, so just remember, guys, recall. Area of a circle is going to equal 2 pi r squared. Okay, 15 is going to come into play because 15, we're just going to use that as a diameter because it's the total length across. Now, this is 1/2 of a circle, and this is 1/2 of a circle. 1/2 plus 1/2 circle is going to equal 1 full circle. That's why we need the area of a circle. Okay, so if the diameter is 15, if I divide by 2, then my radius is 7.5. So from there, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do 15 minus 6 because I have a 3 here and a 3 here is going to be 9. So this is going to be 9 and 9. 9 times 5 is 45. 5 times, excuse me, got a little line across. 5 times 3 is going to equal 15. Same thing here. 5 times 3 is going to equal 15. Okay, you guys already know how to find the perimeter of a rectangle, but we don't know how to involve a circle. You're going to take 2 pi r plus all outside. So what that means is you're going to take 2 pi 7.5 plus all the outsides. I'm going to start with this 3 right here and go to the right. 3, 5, 3, 3, 5, and 3. You guys can definitely go ahead and add that up, and that's going to be your perimeter. So then I'm going to go ahead and get my area. Okay, area is going to be 2 pi r squared plus all of the I'm sorry, not the outside. It's going to be plus total areas found. So what that means is it's going to be A is equal to 2 pi 7.5 squared plus 15 plus 15 plus 45. Whenever you put that in your calculator, that will be your final answer. Again, guys, please make sure that you are doing that on your own, as this is part of your notes, is to take your own notes and finish it. Please remember your notes are due at the end of the class, and ask Mr. Garcia or your substitute if you have any questions.